Let's move on and we'll talk Sox. So Red Sox win 5-2 against the Texas Rangers. Wilyer Abreu, as we mentioned, monster day, 3 for 3 at the plate. 2 home runs, including the game-winning home run, a bomb there in the ninth, and also was just perfect at the plate. Let's start with Garrett Crochet first, though. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 4 hits, 4 Ks, 2 walked batters. And it simply was, you can see the Red Sox managing a pitch count for him. He goes 5 innings, 88 pitches was his total, 61 of those were strikes. Velocity sitting around 96. Talk about the 2 runs scored on him. One of those was a pitch he said, if there's one I can have back, that would be it. It would be the Higashioka long fly ball to center, misread by Ceddanne Rafaela. But what you see, he goes out there, starts out hot, retiring runners, at one point got himself in trouble, walking batters, allowing a long fly ball, but kept the composure, and through 5 innings, just 2 earned runs. First start of his Red Sox tenure. It's what you want to see. It's 1 of 162. Yep. It's what you want to see from Garrett Crochet so far.
Yeah, I think that, as you mentioned, it's what you want to see. He delivered in the aspect of what everybody was anticipating. And then the best part about it is like hearing him break down his own play after the game, like the things that he's already curtailing in his mind that he wants to fix. Too many walks for him today already on his mind, so that's going to be the first thing that he tries to bring correction to the next time he's on the mound, which gets you excited, because to come off with 4 strikeouts and to have the start that you did for the Red Sox and then to pick up a team as a win, like to know that it can only get better from here, and depending on how the rotation goes and how many more innings they allow him to go through, then that's an exciting thing to look forward to. Yeah,
I think it was important too, if you think of first run scored, tough fly ball, into the right field corner. But Abreu played it brilliantly off the wall. Like, that should have been runners scoring from first with ease. They held up at second. But that set up towards, in a way of like a waterfall. The Gashioka long fly ball, I mean, that was Crochet just missing on location. Ended up high and away. Like you said, he wanted that pitch back. And that was Ceddanne Rafaela mistracking the ball. The second was off the bat. He can get there. He can make that play, just didn't. And if that's what you walk away with the 2 earned runs, and again, of him to get to 88 pitches, looked comfortable, was able to settle down after walking batters, deal with the defense, guys returning to their spots, like a Ceddanne Rafaela, like a Wilyer Abreu, but even Kristian Campbell, like making some misplays out there. There was that one tough hit ball towards him with a shattered bat at second, but it still is him working around all this. You take this for the Garrett Crochet debut, and the reason is you bring him in, not for that opening day start to start the season. Like, anyone can start opening day. It's who's the guy that's going to be the ace over the course of the season. Who's the guy you can count on when it matters most. And he said it too. He's like, he put too much pressure on himself. He put excess pressure, as he said it, of not walking batters because he was so good about that last season. Once he gets settled in, obviously there's the excitement of playing for the Red Sox, playing for a good organization, a good team that's going to win a lot of ball games. Once all that is put behind him and he settles down, that's when we'll see the Garrett Crochet take his form on the mound. But this is the start you would take, especially with, and it seems like if they are going to be on a pitch count for him,
right,
get to 5 innings, limited damage, be able to have composure, and just reestablish yourself after walking some batters, which he wasn't happy about, you would take this for the start from the ace.
100%. And then something else that comes into play for like this being his start, his opening. What did we talk about the other day? I mean, I know it was on my list, maybe not your list, but the Rangers are a team that I say look out for. So to open up the season,
good lineup.
Exactly, to open up the season versus a strong lineup like the Rangers, Jake Rugger, there was a guy whose name I had circled in terms of like what he'll do damage-wise this season. So the storm that he was able to weather in terms of like the depth that they have over there, the pieces that they were able to plug in on the Texas Rangers side, like I think that even speaks more highly to what he's going to be able to do. The composure that you keep mentioning, because how the rest of the season is going to open up once they get past the Rangers, like he's going to have a chance to really continue to just build and grow off of that. And then the pitch count changes as well, particularly, or how many innings he's in for.
Allow him to work.
Exactly. So I think opening up against a team like this is even more exciting.
Yeah, and again, if he just gets back to his old self, limits of walks, it means he'll go deeper into games. Yeah. Less pitches, more outs, and we'll start seeing him go 6, maybe 7 innings and beyond. Let's talk about Wilyer Abreu then. We're talking about Garrett Crochet. We got to talk about Wilyer Abreu before we dive into the game. 3 for 3, 4 RBI, 2 home runs. The second home run, that 3-run bomb in the ninth. That was a go-ahead game-winning home run. Also drew a walk, and that was on a 9-pitch at-bat as well. I mean, this is a guy that's just on fire. Middle inside was on the first home run when he hit the pitch. 415 feet with a 108 exit velo. The second home run was just a rocket, 110 exit velocity, 397 feet dead center in Texas. It was exciting to see him twice step up with the big bat. With all the attention to the outfield, everything we're seeing is Jarren Duran, Ceddanne Rafaela, hearing a lot about Roman Anthony. hearing a lot about Marcelo Meyer, of course, a lot about Kristian Campbell. Wilyer Abreu is that guy that, with all this talk of a Roman Anthony, that's the person that gets a fire lit under their butt. And it's because he knows Ceddanne Rafael has a contract. Jaron Duran is that five-tool type player and had an outstanding year last season. If he doesn't step up his game when Roman Anthony's ready to be brought up, he could be the guy that gets moved. And he could be moved off the starting right field spot. It could be moved in different terms. So for him to jump out like this, and it's 1 of 162, but if that is what gets him to be so motivated this entire season, then it's great because he's a good defensive right fielder. And if he could continue to have that 75, 80th percentile type bat for right fielders in Major League Baseball, much above average, would be so productive, the Red Sox will take that because that's what separates him and a guy like a Ceddanne Rafaela is the production of the bat in the box. And we see it, very small sample size, but what he did today, that all this talk about these prospects could be the best thing for Wilyer Abreu because it's what wakes him up. Yeah,
I like that you mentioned the fact that there can be a fire awoken in him. We can add to the fact that he's now a dad of twins. I mean, that dad power is for real. We
Double
saw
dad
it
strength,
exactly.
maybe.
We saw it for Charlie McAvoy after Reese was born. So, like, it's a thing in the sport. But on top of it, yeah, the talk of the prospects for this team has probably been nearly as loud as, like, some of the other guys that they have brought in and spent money on. And it's going to make you think twice. And if this team is also being talked about in the granular scheme of, like, they can contest for a World Series soon, you don't want your job taken from you.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect start to make that argument. Also, more so, something that he could build off of. I'm excited to see what he does throughout the rest of the series because, like, looking at his numbers last year, 21 appearances at bat, 4 home runs versus the Rangers, but I mean only a handful of hits and
11
runs
after that against all other teams last year.
So this is where he can also make a statement again against a really good team. And then I like the fact that you also paint the picture. He came in clutch twice in big moments to help secure this W for the Red Sox, but also what he can do on the defensive side. And that was question marks in the offseason and things that I heard fans really having, being more weary about. So to have that double edge and versatility to his game, it's going to make a louder statement while you allow the greatest prospects in the game to continue to develop without any rush either. That's
a guy that was playing at like a Gold Glove standard out and right, and especially knowing how to play the right field at Fenway. That is a very unique skill set to have, to understand the space out there. The ball gets bouncing around in that corner, it can be a mess. I even think of going back to his defensive play again. Tough fly ball that Garrett Crochet led up. One hopped it off the wall, perfect read by Abreu, and just corralled that ball in right away and held the runner at second. It's plays like that too, where the bat shows up, but defensively, he very well could have kept this game entirely in check. Because if someone misplays that, even by the margin, that's a runner from first, maybe getting third, maybe getting to home because of how tough that ball could be to corral in. And just for him to be so locked in at the plate, look at the timing as well, like right on top of the ball, being so perfect with the timing of it too. Not too early, not too late, just getting on top of it and just barreling the heck out of the ball on both home runs and driving those. One of those off of Nate Eovaldi, who is absolutely nails as well in this game. Like that shows the quality that he is and how locked in he is going into this. So we talk Crochet, we talk a little Wilyer Abreu. Interesting approach as we saw too. Crochet goes out he's pulled after 5 innings, 88 pitches. Garrett Whitlock is the first relief pitcher up. Puts away 6 of his first 7 batters. We see him for 2 innings, 1 hit allowed, 0 earned runs. Aroldis Chapman gets the win in this one. It was tied when he came in 2-2. 1 inning, strikes out Corey Seager. Shattered bat. That was a tough out for Campbell I was talking about. Fly out to Ceddanne Rafaela. Then it ends with a 6-4 story to Kristian Campbell. And then Justin Slayton gets the save on this one. Again, a big storyline of what these Red Sox can be is how does the bullpen break down?
True.
And maybe that's a glimpse into it of Whitlock would be a long-term setup guy. Aroldis Chapman in a different setting would be getting the save here. But that's someone where Alex Cora wanted to see Chapman come in, get us through an inning, especially seeing Corey Seager in that part of the lineup, get him through the meat. And then, hey, Justin Slayton, here's a test. How can you do it with the pressure on? Can you close out this game and hold on to it?
Yeah, that's a good question in terms of like we're looking to see what the bullpen and the rotation, everything is going to look like. I want to ask this question though really quick because we got the news that Hendricks was going to be on 15-day IL, moments before, a couple hours before the game and stuff. If he was healthy and able to be involved in all of this, do you think it would have been him that got the tap over Chapman? Because I always saw their name kind of going hand in hand.
It would have probably went Whitlock, Hendricks, Chapman, I would guess.
Okay.
I think in that order. Or maybe it could have gone same thing with the length of it. Go Whitlock. Maybe it would be a Hendricks instead. You save a Chapman. Chapman for a type of safe scenario instead of in a tied ball game. So maybe it would have went Whitlock, Hendricks, Chapman. Either way, the splits are the same. It was an inning each. But that is a good question to ask. I just think with the contract you bring in Chapman on, how experienced he is, velocity still being there, and how good he was as well in this game, I think that's how it can end up being, because it's Corey Singer struck him out swinging. Gets a ground out to right. And then that was Aroldis Garcia that flew out to center. Like that's again, you're seeing Seager and Garcia, who should have a bounce back here, had a down year last year, him and Marcus Semien. But after letting up that single to Langford, it's Seager strikeout, Garcia fly out, and then a 6-4 play, Story to Campbell. That's the meat of the lineup. So I think that would be the Chapman spot no matter what. And I think that's how Alex Cora read it.
Gotcha. And then on top of that, being
could have been
able
Hendricks
to perform
after.
that. Yeah, that's true. So he came in and did exactly what was expected of him.
Yeah.
More so.
Kristian Campbell, first career hit for him. First major
I
league
feel like all of us were sitting there
hit.
like holding our breath and saying he's got to get the hit. He's got to get the hit. He's got to get it off his back.
Anticipation, see his family in the stands. We know how big of a story he is too.
Oh yeah, but I love that he mentioned like the first half he was, took
him a while to settle down.
Getting settled in still. He didn't really feel that until the second half of the game, but more why he wasn't feeling so settled in at first, it was like, emotions. He just kept referring to emotions. So that was pretty nice to see that he was able to kind of be vulnerable about that, but also like he was glad to get that monkey off his back to get that hit. I mean, what a hit on top of it.
Yeah. So I mean, just rip it down the third baseline. Still and again, this was a kid that started out, I think 0-11 in spring training. So it's like getting the timing down. Now it's major league pitching. It's not major league spring training pitching he's facing. It's major league pitching. And when he said that after, like, he got emotional, was tearing up during the anthem, thinking about his family, his journey. He said, I didn't settle down until the second half of the game. He steps up. I mean, it's in a big spot because that hit advances Trevor Story to third, gets him on base, obviously, at first. He eventually gets pulled David Hamilton to be the pinch runner in that one. And then right after that, that's a Wilyer Abreu 3-run bomb.
Yep.
So it's a spot that he's in. Casas goes down looking, but it was good framing for that on the final K. He thought he got walked. I thought it should have been a walk as well. Story walks, steals second. Campbell advances him to third. Just how crucial that was. Just put a ball in play.
Yep.
Make it tough on the defense is what he did, and that led to the Wilyer Abreu home run. That's the thing. It's the timing of it. It's not just getting that first hit, but obviously how major that was as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure that makes him feel that much more impactful after going through a roller coaster of emotions because the expectation on him is pretty high. And let's just kind of devil advocate here. If we track back 6 weeks ago, we weren't talking about Campbell really making the opening day lineup per se.
It was floated around, but it wasn't a 100% sure thing.
Exactly. And then even like they were saying like how, it's kind of taking a minute to see the consistency and where the fit in would come and what pieces they would move around in order to make sure that he lands on the opening day roster. So I love that you make the case to say perfect timing on this because this is also something that everyone can carry into the next performance confidence-wise because now they're trusting a young guy to be able to show up and have that timing because that would have been a different game if not for that hit at that time and them able to go up.
Also, for him to make his MLB debut, first pitcher that he sees steps in the box is Nate Eovaldi, who was absolute nails in this one. 6 innings pitched, 9 Ks, 3 hits, no walks, 2 earned runs. But even the first at-bat for him, Eovaldi goes 3 straight four-seam fastballs, then just buckles his knees, drops the miles per hour, going with the curveball right there, and goes down. That's what's hard. Draws a walk in his third at bat. So it's just like the ups and downs and just being patient at the plate because he could have kept going out there swinging, like hunting for that hit. Instead, kind of let the pitch come to him, waited for that perfect timing in that moment. But it's like, man, welcome to the bigs. You got to face nasty Nate, who's always nails in the big spot. And obviously Nate Eovaldi pitching with some extra motivation, facing the Red Sox as well, facing their ace in Garrett Crochet. He was awesome in this game. So that's where it's the tough start, the challenging start, I want to say more of. The challenge of emotions, Nate Eovaldi, and then by the time it gets to the 9th, he's settled down. And again, it's just in a big spot. You put him in that part of the lineup, that's what helps. So if a guy like Trevor Story maybe take some pressure off. All right, Trevor got on. I'm good. Now I'm going to come up. I got Wilyer Abreu behind me. Just get on base and he can bring me home. That's what's so crucial with you bringing these rookies, especially a young guy like him, 22 years old, that you bring him in where the pressure is going to be a lot, but you surround him with Trevor Story, who's a vet, Wilyer Abreu, who's been in the bigs and is an established major league hitter and outfielder. You put those around the rookie, it helps him out with his confidence in the box.
Yeah, I think we saw the elevation of that, and then also just his breakdown of how that play even came about, how he was able to talk himself through it, settle it down, get under the ball. He said particularly hit through the ball. He recognized that he kept throwing slider after slider, and then made those adjustments to make sure that he can have that big play and opportunity and that perfect positioning and timing of things. So again, you're processing so much. watch. It's your first MLB game. Your family's in the stands. Like,
Yeah.
considering all of that, like, I don't even know if I'd have the composure to walk myself so meticulously through every step to make sure that play would happen. That's obviously why he got the tap for the pros.